Addition of two vectors, triangle law. If two vectors are represented as two sides of the triangle in the order, then the resultant will be given by, resultant means the addition or their sum. The resultant will be given by the third side in the reverse order. When I say reverse order, I mean to say that head will coincide with the head and tail will coincide with the tail. Initially, we can see that there are two vectors, AB and BC. They are in the order and their resultant will be given by AC. Tail coincides with the tail and head coincides with the head. So, AB vector plus a BC vector is AC vector. If we imagine that this is a strong system of vectors in the order, then the total resultant will be 0. That's why they say that the resultant will be in the reverse order. When we say order, means head coincides with the tail. But when it comes to resultant, tail coincides with the tail and head coincides with the head. That is the resultant. Or in simple words, you can say the displacement. So this AB plus BC is resulting in AC. AB vector plus a BC vector is an AC vector. You can see that we have bypassed B and the result is directly from A to C. Also, if we talk about their magnitudes, then it holds the property of the triangle, or we call it a triangular inequality, that the sum of the magnitudes of the two distances must be greater than or equal to the third distance. This is about the triangle law of addition. Addition of two vectors, parallelogram law. You can see that we have a parallelogram and we have taken two adjacent sides of the parallelogram as two vectors, and they are co-initial vectors. So if A vector and B vector are represented as the adjacent sides of the parallelogram in magnitude and direction, then their sum, that is their resultant, will be given by the diagonal directed from the same point. So A vector plus a B vector will be A plus B vector. This is the parallelogram law of addition of vectors, that the vectors and the resultant all are co-initial. Now, the difference between triangle law and the parallelogram law is that in case of triangle law of addition, vectors should be in the form of order. They should create the order, that is, head of one should coincide with the tail of the other. Whereas in case of parallelogram law, they should be co-initial and O becomes the concurrent point for vectors and the resultant. Whereas in triangle law, the resultant has nothing to do with the point in between. So if we have vector AB plus a BC, then it is straight away AC. But in case of parallelogram law of addition, OA and OC give the resultant which is generated from their co-initial point O. Well, in both the cases, we always get the same result. If we just remove this, because this being a parallelogram, and if I consider this as vector B, then now you can see that parallelogram has nothing to do with this diagram, and this becomes the triangle law of addition because they are in the order. So if the vectors are in the order, think for triangle law of addition, and if vectors are co-initial, use a parallelogram law of addition of vectors. This is the secret.